Let's continue our discussion about the text tool. And what we're going to do is show you how to select text inside of a text block. A text block is up here, or even these field labels are text blocks. And how do we get back in to edit it? Well, you can click on the text tool and then come click on it and your cursor will go back in there. Or if you've already got the arrow tool, I find it easier to double click and your cursor goes in there. Or triple click. That was 4 clicks in a row. Let me try a triple click again. 1, 2, 3. And 3 clicks highlight just what you clicked on. And then 4 clicks, as you saw before, selects everything. So that's kind of nifty to do that. It's a much quicker way to double click on a text block, and it works on a field too, a field label. It doesn't work on a field because that's not actually text. It's an actual different type of object. But the labels on fields are actually text. So what we're going to do is double click on it, and we can select some of this text and just change the color here. You can see how it changes just what we highlighted. We'll undo that. That's different than if you select the text as with the arrow tool and have the anchors on it and then change it. It changes everything to that color. Or any formatting you might pick to choose, like bolding or font. So there's different ways to change the fonts and the font characteristics on a text block, either with the arrow tool and the anchor points or getting your cursor in there. And when your cursor's in there, it's like a mini word processor. But typically you want everything to be the same, so I usually use this a lot, the arrow tool, and changing everything at once. So let's go ahead and shift click the first name and the last name. I'm going to change the text color to red. And we'll go into browse mode. And you'll notice that on every record, it's been changed. That looks pretty good. Let's switch to our list view. You notice that the first and last name aren't red here. That's because you can change each layout independently. It's very important to have this layout have 18-point text and this layout might have 12-point or even a different font. Maybe it's a print layout. So each of your layouts acts independently unless you do this. If we go over to somebody's name and highlight the data in browse mode and then go and change the format menu and say let's change the text color to green. Changes it here, not on all the records, just on this one record. And as we switch back here, you'll notice that it's overridden the layout mode settings. This is generally not a good thing. I'm not saying I don't every once in a while do it, but think about this. Let's say you have a print layout. It's a label layout, and you want to print. Well, it's going to be green no matter what. You can't set that label out to be, let's say, 10-point in this font, whatever. So generally, you don't want to do that. And the way you get rid of this is you come in here and you take this out. I'm going to cut it using this menu item here or the keyboard command if you want. We cut it out of there, and then what we're going to do is make sure we click out of the field, so all the formatting's gone now. Click back in it, and this time we're going to hold down the Shift key on Windows or the Option key on Macintosh when we're choosing this menu. Notice that when I hold it down, this won't happen on Windows, but you'll see that it says paste text only. And so now what happens is I'm pasting it without that formatting. You could do this from a web browser if you wanted to. You could go ahead and copy something from a web browser that might have all kinds of formatting, paste it in FileMaker with the special paste text only, and it'll take on the formatting of your FileMaker. And there are other ways to go ahead and change a whole bunch of records at once. If somebody's been doing data entry and changing all this stuff, well, you can go ahead and do is replace and set field to do a whole bunch of records at once. But we're not going to go into that right now because it's more complicated and we're not ready for it yet.